welcome into Texans today, everybody. I'm your host, Jeremy Chuggs, and coming up on today's show, not great news for the Houston Texans. We'll get into everything that you need to know around the Texans and Seahawks injury reports and the outlook for that Monday Night Football game. But a quick reminder, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Daily Texans videos all year long. You know we got you covered here at Texans Today, 100% free, 100% of the time. Also, I'll be going live for that Monday Night Football game. We're giving away a Will Anderson Jr. autographed helmet, so be there or be square. Don't miss out on all the action. All right, let's get into the main story on today's show, which is Christian Kirk. Limited on Friday and then absent for the media portion of practice on Saturday. Not looking good for the Texans slot receiver, and we've seen the difference of this offense with and without Christian Kirk. The first couple of games, they did not have him. Obviously against tougher competition as well, up against the Rams and the Bucks, but then with him in the offense, things have looked to be a little bit better, and I do not want to see Monday Night Football without Christian Kirk, and that's what it's looking like it's going towards because, you know, the hamstring has been a problem before, and the Texans, they want to play it on the safe side because they want to make sure they don't risk long-term injury or him sitting out a, multitude of games. So I could 100% see the Texans saying, hey, hamstrings hurt, you're sitting out Monday Night Football because, practicing to then limited to then not being there on Saturday, that's not good. He's a zone beater. He's a reliable receiver in the slot. And I even said in my keys to victory, I thought him and Dalton Schultz would be big in this offense on Monday because the Seahawks have the number 2 rushing defense in the NFL, only allowing 79 rushing yards per game. So you need the quick passing game to set it up. And, this is why the Texans were able to trade for Christian Kirk, a good receiver, but with only a late round pick from the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's why they were going to release him, is because of this, the injury history and him not being able to stay on the field. And Texans fans, I think we have a history knowing of, receivers who are really good but not able to stay on the field. And I think we're all thinking of the same person. Receiver, amazing, a ton of injuries keeping him off the field. Let's all say it together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Will Fuller. Like, we all know about receivers with the hamstring, the soft tissue injuries. It is one of the most frustrating injuries as a, organization, as a player, as a fan, because you don't know. The soft tissue injuries, there's no timetable. There's no, it's definitely going to heal in, 2 to 3 weeks, 3 to 4 months. Those, injuries are so hard to diagnose and so hard to treat and fully recover that guys like Christian Kirk, these speedsters on the outside, it's the big hindrance on them in their careers. And I hope this isn't the case for Christian Kirk. I hope he's able to go out there Monday. But more likely than not, I think things are leaning towards Kirk missing that Monday Night Football matchup. And that means Jaylen Noel, he's got to step up. The rookie out of Iowa State, he got his first touchdown up against the Baltimore Ravens. He's got to be a big part of this offense because you need somebody who can, sit down in those zones, get some extra yardage, some yards after the catch, and be, a reliable hands guy there in the slot. And I think with Christian Kirk out, a lot of focus is going to be on Nico Collins. He's going to get he's going to get some receptions, but they're definitely going to either bracket him, double him, whatever, to try to take Nico out of this offense. So that means guys like Jaylen Noel, Jaden Higgins as well, he's got to step up. We'll see a lot more to Dalton Schultz possibly in this game. So with Christian Kirk, his status up in the air, not good news for this Texans team. Now, before that, the injury report was looking awesome. Denico Autry, Jaylen Reed were both full participants, even though D'Amico Ryan said he thinks Jaylen Reed might take another week or so. I would expect Denico Autry to be out there, but we'll see whether or not he's fully ready to go. Tremon Smith was a DNP on Friday, but that was listed for personal reasons, so not sure on that one. But the likelihood of him playing on Monday goes up with it not being an injury, but more personal related issues. Alijah Huzzie, good to see him out there. The UDFA, maybe my number one UDFA the Texans were able to snag after the 2025 NFL draft. The reason why he was able to slide, he was listed as like a mid-round pick on a lot of websites, but he got injured in his, I think it was the East-West Shrine Bowl. He got injured in that, Senior Bowl activity stuff, which really sucks for him. He's a good player, but the Texans were able to kind of stash him away limited, and we'll see if maybe he at some point makes his way to the active roster later on in the year. Now, I did say in the title of this video, it's a double dose of bad news for this Texans team. And that's because the Seahawks are getting a little bit healthier. And I'll tell you more about the Seahawks injury report in just a moment. But first, this episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. All it is, it's simple to play. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in and win up to 2,000 times your money. And speaking of that, we got college football on. I was just watching a couple games out there. I believe I have the Duke Georgia Tech game and the Houston Arizona game on the dual cast. But the fun thing about college football and the fun thing about PrizePicks is they actually have second half projections as well. So even if the game's getting going, even if you're, a Cougs fan, even if you're, a fan of a team that's already in action, they have, second half statistics going on as well. Like I'm looking right now, Vanderbilt, Eli Stowers, 26.5 receiving yards for the, second half. We've got, Diego Pavia, 102.5 passing yards in the second half. Lenore Sellers up against Oklahoma, 94.5 passing yards in the second half. Garrett Nussmeier as well. Like a lot of fun projections that you can do, even if the game's already gotten going. So get started today with our friends at PrizePicks. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Shout out to PrizePicks. That information will be down in the comment section and description of today's video. If you want to go check them out there, and I'm going to, possibly be going live this Tuesday because it's the start of basketball season. They have basketball, they have hockey, baseball, football, October. It's amazing for us sports fans. So take advantage of it with our friends at PrizePicks. All right, let's look at the Seahawks injury report. And I was talking to our Seahawks host, Will Ortner, and he was telling me, it's really 3 main guys that we got to look at. And it's Julian Love, Riq Woolen, and Devon Witherspoon. And I asked him, most likely to least likely to play, who do you think it is? He said most likely Devon Witherspoon. He's been a limited participant and then he was moved to a full participant with that knee injury. It's looking like he's going to be ready to go on Monday night. Julian Love, he's been dealing with a hamstring injury himself. 50-50 to go per our guy Will Ortner here at Chat Sports, and he's been listed with a hamstring injury all week. So like kind of with Christian Kirk, it's going to be up in the air around game time. Probably both those guys are going to go out before the game, give it a go, see if they can, plan on it, see if they can kind of warm up, and if it's feeling good, they'll go, and if it's not, they'll be listed as an inactive for that game. Riq Woolen, though, is the one guy who he said has him really kind of perplexed because he was a full participant and then he went back to a limited participant. He's dealing with a concussion, so I don't know if it's some effects from that concussion or, something else is bothering Riq Woolen, but not good if you're going from, he missed last week and then he went from full to then limited. Not good news for the Seahawks defense in there. But besides that, the Seahawks, they look pretty healthy other than those 3 guys. And, Devon Witherspoon now a full participant. Nehemiah Pritchett, Jarran Reed on the report, but they were listed as full participants. And then Leonard Williams and DeMarcus Lawrence, they were also on the injury report, but they were listed because they're old. I'm just kidding. They were listed for, rest, having, a veteran rest day for them. So getting ready for that Monday Night Football matchup, it's going to be a big one. And the Texans, the Seahawks secondary is up in the air. The Seahawks run defense is absolutely stout. I need to see a CJ Stroud game. I need to see one where he's picking apart this Seahawks defense because I think that's the only way this Texans team wins. The defense can definitely step up and, maybe stop Sam Darnold, Jackson Smith, and Jigba in this Seahawks passing attack. They have a nice duo at running back with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. I think the defense can step up. But it's really going to be on the, shoulders of Stroud, this offense, to put up points. It's an away game at Lumen Field in Seattle, and it's late at night. It's a West Coast game, so it's a 9 p.m. Central Time kickoff, 10 p.m. on the East Coast. Absolutely brutal. But I'll be live for it here on Texans Today. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're tuned in for the latest Texans news and rumors all year long.